So, welcome to the Follower of One live stream, our Vision Cast live stream that we do every Monday here on Follower of One. I love talking about the vision of Follower of One and where we are in our year in life. I'm just excited at the things that God is doing. I think He continues to wake up His body and call us out. So, we're starting a new month for our topics that we're talking about today. Even though it's still March the 30th, we're going to head into April's subject, which is to serve beyond expectations. Our March subject was serving right where we are, initiate ministry right where you are. And our April topic is to serve beyond expectations. Since I already know what the verse is for today, I know who we're talking to. We're talking to me today. So I'll be talking to myself today. What we're going to talk about is the commands to serve beyond expectation. We'll speculate a little bit and we'll study a little bit as well and think about why Jesus asks us to serve beyond expectations. Why is He asking us to go beyond what is normally expected of other people? Or what is normally expected of us. And our verse today is Matthew 5:40 and 41. If anyone wants to sue you and take your shirt, let him have your coat also. Whoever forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2. These verses are in a series of things that Jesus says in the Sermon on the Mount. And this series are these things that Jesus is pointing out that we should do when people ask us. We should do more than what is asked of us. Why would Jesus do that? I think Jesus was, at least in the way that I believe He's speaking to me in this particular message, the way that I believe He's speaking to us maybe, but especially to me. Jesus is saying, what happens on this planet is only a prelude to what's going to happen for eternity. I can't imagine how much bigger eternity is than what I'm experiencing in my own life. I just can't. My brain can't handle it. I think now I'm old enough to remember when I was younger and what I used to think was big then, and it's not. What I used to think was long then, and it's not. What I used to think was cool then, and it's not. God has been like growing up, He's expanding our horizons. We are learning more about Him and appreciating Him. And He's just so much greater than we can ask or imagine. It says in Ephesians 3, He says, that we bow our knees before the Father, from whom every family on heaven and earth derives its name, that He would grant us the ability to see the size and the power of His glory. And at the end of that prayer, it says, now to Him who is able to do far more abundantly beyond all that you can ask or think, according to the power that works within us. The power that is in us is so much greater than we can imagine that it's convicting to me. But I testify to that power when I freely give more than is asked. I testify to that power when I freely go out of my way to do something for someone else. I testify to these things about Jesus when I act differently because I believe them. And to me, I think that's us making the kingdom of heaven present here on earth. We get this opportunity to make Jesus visible by the way we live. When we go an extra mile, when we do more than is expected of us, when we give the coat and the shirt, when we turn the other cheek, as it says elsewhere in this passage, when we go out of our way to trust God simply because we can, then God makes it work. Another series of passages that I'm working on memorizing are in the latter part of John, in the last days of Jesus's life here on earth. He's talking to his disciples, and he talks about how whatever we ask, he will do. Our prayers will be answered. Jesus asks us to go beyond what is expected. If they ask us to go 1 mile, it says in Matthew 5, verses 40 and 41, whoever forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2. If we can go beyond, we can do more than is expected of us, because basically Jesus is going to make it right. I didn't get a chance to put in more verses today, but I would love to talk about more of these verses. In John chapter 14, he talks about whatever we ask in his name, he will do. I'm fascinated by my relationship with Christ because I know that he will do whatever to save whoever. He's going to do whatever he can to save everyone he can. And he will not be frustrated in that. He will not think twice about how this works out. It's going to work out exactly as it was planned. And therefore, we can give more than is asked of us. We can go beyond what is asked of us. We can go above and beyond. I am convicting myself a little bit because how much is a good tip? How much is to go out of your way to help someone? What am I holding on to that's keeping me from experiencing what God is going to do? What are you holding on to that's keeping you from doing what God would have you do? I think that's why it's so important. This whole month, our theme is going to be about serving beyond expectations. When we do something that can't be explained except for the fact that we trust Jesus. When I do that, because I'm a Christ follower, then I immediately make Jesus visible to the people that I live and work with. And so today in our workplaces, I want to challenge us. Where can we go above and beyond? It should scare us a little bit to do what Jesus would have us do. There's an old Mario Andretti quote that I love talking about, and Mario said, if you're not a little scared, you're not going fast enough. If we're not a little scared, we're not far enough out on the limb of trusting Jesus. If we're not a little nervous about what Jesus is asking us to do, then maybe we haven't gone far enough. I want to give away a little more than I'm comfortable giving. I want to go a little farther than I'm comfortable going. And today, this is a conviction for me. I hope that I can be a little more of a giver. I want to give more. I want to give so much that we get to see Jesus as he works out through that. I want to live in such a way where I'm trusting him to that degree. Because when we trust him to that degree, he will not let us down. I think it's very interesting. We have to be careful how we act, but we also want to be careful how we keep score. I don't want to keep score on this world. I want to factor Jesus into every decision I make. I love to read My Utmost for His Highest, and one of the My Utmost for His Highest daily devotions, he talks about don't calculate without God. I want to calculate with God in view, which means that even if I lose in this world, I will win in eternity. Jesus has that plan for us. I saw Olu's put a note in here that I just wanted to refer to. He was talking about how he just happened to see this and joined today. So thank you for joining us, Olu. I'm grateful that you could. I'm grateful that you are doing what you're doing as a Christ follower. It matters. And Bonnie said, it's a good point, Rick. We don't often think of the ripple effect. We never underestimate the value of the ripple effect. That's exactly right. Jesus is the one who told us to go beyond what's asked of us. And he's the one who makes it right. He's the one who uses that. Our actions become this challenge almost, where we step into this relationship with Christ and we say, okay, I'm acting based on your will. May I get to see you make that right. And I want to trust him and follow him and watch him do that. To me, this is an interesting example. I'm going to put this verse back up here again. If anyone wants to sue you and take your shirt, let him have your coat also. Whoever forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2. That's Matthew 5:40 and 41. Today, let's be people who go the extra mile. Let's be people who put in an extra slot or who give an extra dollar or give a gift. Let's go out of our way simply because we trust Christ. And then we get to watch him work. He will make it happen. He will be glorified by our actions. And that's part of our ongoing marketplace ministry. Thanks so much for being a marketplace minister. Thanks so much for considering how our lives and our actions make Jesus visible in our world. What we do because we follow him matters. The kingdom of heaven is the place where what the king says goes. And all we have to do is obey the king today, and we make the kingdom of heaven present. The kingdom of heaven is where we are when we're listening to him. I want to thank each of you for joining today. I want to thank you for being part of Follower of One. Thank you for this whole idea of let's form a community of people who are encouraging one another to live out their faith every day. Today, someone that you interact with today will want to know a little bit more maybe about why you're doing what you're doing. To me, that's the door opening question, is we live in such a way where other people go, why are you doing this? And then we get to see him work. What we do because we follow Jesus matters forever. Tomorrow at 1:00 Central Time, I'll be interviewing Amy Pollock, who's on this live stream today, but we're going to do Meet Follower of One, and Amy and I will be talking. And so join us for that as well. And you get to meet Amy and learn a little bit more about her and her business and her relationship with the Lord. It will be exciting. We have the opportunity to step into the calling that Christ has for us today. Nothing can keep us from that. And so let's step in. Remember, what we do because we follow Jesus matters forever. And we shall not lose our reward. So let's follow him today and watch him work. Thanks very much.